Welcome in to Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling, the only podcast on the Markland Media Empire conglomeration experience that's delving into episode by episode, beat by beat, and sweat by sweat. Lucha Underground! That's right, we're on Season 3, Episode 31, The Cup Runneth Over. And I am runnething over to this microphone to tell you my name. It's Sean. With me as well is James.
Hello, Jonathan Marciniak. How are you today?
Ooh, the full fake name and hand farts? Such a ostentious occasions. What's going on?
Jonathan Alistair Marciniak, full name.
Well, you know that's not my middle name, but please continue.
I call you Sam for short, you know?
That's great. That's not my middle name. Actually, those are my brother's initials. So now I'm having a mild identity crisis.
Wait, is it Stacy? Is it Jane?
No, Sam. Where is that J coming in for?
That's not my name.
Sam.
That's not my name. I was doing that.
I got it. Yeah. After you started singing, after you sang the chorus. Yeah, I think I put that together. Thank you, though.
Sean, I have a couple things up front. First and foremost is just a cute cat thing.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know the layout of our apartment. You walk in, there's that closet, but then when you see the living room, then you see our bedroom that is actually just the other living room, but we sectioned it off with bookshelves, and it seems like that's how it should be, but it is not. In there, we have a litter box in what used to be a fireplace, but it's been sealed off, whatever. And then we have a litter box. So like there's the living room, then the bathroom on the other side of the apartment that has a litter box. Butter, for some weird reason, she will just poop in the one in the bedroom. And I'm like, that's weird. She does not pee. So last night...
Real quick, sorry. She does not pee in that litter box, or she just does not pee?
She doesn't pee in that litter box.
Okay, cool. One is a medical concern. Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Or a medical feat.
True, honestly, for true
She's
accomplishments.
Like, I only drink what I need.
Medical achievement unlocked. Oh.
So last night, we're going to bed, and then I hear like scratching in that litter box, and then she jumps out of it because it's like a top-down one, and she starts running out. I'm like, oh, dude, stinky. So I have to go and get the like litter reciprocal that we use to scoop the litter that's in the bathroom. And as I'm walking into the bathroom, Nicole's there, and then I look down, Butter is now in that litter box peeing, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Wow, that seems it's not diabolic, because I don't even know what the evil scheme could be to keep your pee-pee and your poo-poo so distinctly separated.
Also, maybe it's to like mark her territory, to be like, hey, Henry, this is my box as well. But that's a biological feat. Imagine if you took a poop and then you did not pee and you're like, awesome, but I really have to pee. So then you go into another bathroom just to pee.
All to assert dominance over Henry. That sounds... I'm so impressed.
Yeah.
I think Butters is kind of like the coolest kid in school. I want to give them my lunch money now.
Yeah, she's really cool. But
damn,
I got another thing to talk about. You know,
okay.
I guess I haven't talked about this in a while. Currently, I started doing the One Punch Man workout like years ago. And people say, hey, start at 25%, meaning the One Punch Man workout is 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, 100 push-ups, and then 10 kilometers of running. I don't do the running because, as I've said before, last time I tried doing that, I tripped in front of a bunch of construction workers. They laughed at me, and I don't want to do it anymore. So,
and One Punch Man is one of those comic books like a Heathcliff?
Yeah, exactly like a Heathcliff. He's like on a newspaper. It's once a week. Once a day, I mean. It's pretty cool.
He hates Mondays. He's best friends with Linus.
And he's so good. He only has a 6-day week, actually. He's so strong, he punches Monday out of here.
Wow.
Don't we wish we all could?
That's almost as cool as Butters peeing and pooping in separate locations.
So I am now at if that's 100% is 100 of them, I'm at 1,200%. I do 1,200 of each of those things besides push-ups because that hurts my neck. But I have been, there's that like really, I started doing like a double crank motion.
Like, like butter churning.
Yes. So I butter churn a mic stand because the base is like 20 pounds. So I've been doing that. Okay. But there was a day where I was like, I didn't have chicken pre-made, so I couldn't make stuff like that. And my wisdom tooth, the other side, my right side has been coming through. So I don't want to eat things that'll like get stuck in there. Then it's an ordeal trying to wash it out and whatnot. So like, I was like, hey, I'll just have a peanut butter sandwich.
Oh, yeah.
I had 2 peanut butter sandwiches, and I was like, oh, I can replace buying protein bars for just like eating peanut butter sandwiches and like a glass of whole milk with some creamer in it. And then that day...
Okay, that one I haven't heard of before.
Yeah, so...
Why are you adding the creamer to the whole milk?
Because it tastes good.
Okay.
Like it's vanilla creamer. It's sugar-free, you know? It's delicious. So, and then...
Yeah.
On lunch, I was like, man, I don't want to make pasta, and it doesn't really have protein if I don't have chicken. I'll just have 2 more peanut butter sandwiches. Then dinner came around, and I was like, well, I really don't want to make like a bologna sandwich because that like then I have to put chips in there and then it gets stuck in my tooth. Don't want to do that. I'll just have peanut butter sandwiches. Then I made a breakthrough with like muscle gain. I'm like super jacked now. So I'm like, oh, well, after the peanut butter sandwiches, I'm like, well, I'm just going to do this all the time now. So I'm not eating exclusively that, you know, now like
Thank
lunch
God.
and dinner, whatever. But
yeah.
There was also a time when I was like, I'll just have more peanut butter sandwiches. And Nicole's like, why? Like, maybe you should change it up. And I was like, yeah, but you know, doctor's orders, more peanuts. And then she starts laughing and she's like, that's stupid, James. I was like, no, really, the doctor told me to eat more peanuts. And she's like, what? And I was like, yeah, my good cholesterol is low. And one of the things they said to eat was peanuts. So I'm going to eat more peanut butter.
Oh, shit. Okay. I got to go look at my good cholesterol. Sorry. I just remembered I'm 30.
Look at these, baby.
Veiny, bubby.
And my cum gutters are just like badonkadonk. Right. And then...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, as I've said before, my thighs are bigger than, like one thigh is bigger than Nicole's head in diameter. And then I had to measure it again last night, and it's grown like an inch since the last time I've done it. I'm ripped, baby. And next time I see your nerd ass, I'm going to make sure you can't armadillo yourself.
No, stop bullying me. Stop bullying me. I'm already doing the podcast.
And
which is...
Last thing, and this is podcast related.
This is more about your cum gutters.
No.
I can only... Okay, I have it in my contract how many minutes an episode I can listen to you and your cum gutters.
Well, I've been banking it because like rollover minutes, they do roll over. I haven't talked about them in a while, so...
I noticed. I was hoping you weren't.
One episode will eventually be exclusively cum gutter talks, and I will be saving it for... let's call it the Sweaty Time Wrestler Challenge. Sean, we are getting very close to season 4.
Okay.
I don't know what the prize will be. Whichever one of us first gets and locks in and records a wrestler from Lucha Underground on our podcast will win something.
Oh, okay, cool. Is my mom a wrestler from Lucha Underground?
Sure isn't. So... I already have Slight in. We have been in talks with Marty the Moth, but he is responsive. But he's busy. You want to know what? Let's just say, like, he is very busy being a wrestler on the independent scene. So I say, we try. And you want to know what? I'll play dirty. If I know you're going to message Willie Mack, I'll be like, I'm going to message Willie Mack and be like, hey, you want to know what? Like, Sean has been getting scammed and people have been impersonating him because, you know, like he is an extra in these things and whatnot.
That's not a reason that's such an unimpressive reason to steal someone's identity.
Still, all I'm saying is I will win this, okay? Maybe it's just like the loser has to pay for a fast food dinner of the winner's choice.
I'm just upset that you made the read. The only roster member of Lucha Underground I had even a modicum of hope getting in contact with is Willie Mack because of one time he shared an Instagram post that I made.
Okay.
That I had taken from our TikTok.
No, go back. Yes, exactly. Go back.
Okay, all right. Calm down. Hey, that's your TikTok that I have graciously provided by dulcet tones talking about penis hairs and mostly your cum gutters over footage of wrestling. Follow the TikTok. We're not at the plugs yet.
Marshland
Does that
Monster.
sound good to you? Does that sound good to you? Follow Marshland Monster on TikTok.
And the Chicago Comics.
Of course. And us. Yeah, that's right. Follow us as we dig into episode 31, season 3 of Lucha Underground. The Cup Runneth Over.
Oh, one of the best episodes. Loved it. Non-stop bangers. You think, oh, there's only 2 matches? That's kind of lame. But guys,
It made me, it's funny to call it 2 matches non-stop bangers, but it made me go, wow, some of these episodes really only need 2 matches because they're both very, very good. And there's also there's a lot going on at the temple right now.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got the Cueto Cup. We've had Marty creeping on Melissa and Phoenix for a few weeks now. Mill finally getting a chance to pay Penta back for depriving him his Lucha Underground title from, what was that? It's like midway through season 2?
yeah, something like that.
Long time coming. And Mundo is beating up a young dirty Dom? What? That dirty Dom is in the temple alone is reason for you all to get excited. Stand up, Margie. Your favorite wrestler is here. Also, captain of the LAPD, Vasquez, is Katrina's mom, and they've struck a deal for Cage's gauntlet. So much is happening. I'm excited by the recap. That's how much is happening at the temple right now.
Someone calls Sega. They have a lawsuit on their hand because people are stealing gauntlets.
Oh, that took a while. Shouts out to the Gauntlet arcade cabinets at my favorite mom and pop local arcade.
Do you think Mitch Hedberg jokes take a while? Because that was less than a Mitch Like, it took me 6 seconds to say what I just said, and you're like, that took a while.
No, it took me a while.
Oh, okay, sorry. I thought you were dissing me.
No, I mean, I always am, just in my heart. But no, I apologize. I was saying that took me a while.
I'm going to start disking you, Olympic style. I'm going to, like, perch you up on my palm and like a disket, going to launch you in the air once I'm all yoked.
No, I'm going to start compact disking you. That's when I take you along for my walks, man.
Okay, I'm cool with that. And I sing like, dap, 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 dap,
Temple Gym. We cut to the Temple Gym as Cage is pumping iron, and Katrina appears to him. Katrina asks if Cage knows what the gauntlet even is. And I gotta respect Cage's response, where he just says, "It is mine." Get out of here. Cage understands the concept of ownership, and he's not afraid of this lich. Katrina warns Cage of the dangerous magic. The gauntlet is consuming him. He is still technically a wanted felon. It is shocking how not locked up Cage is for the murder he committed.
I don't think he is wanted because the only people who know about Cage doing it, I think, are people who are vying for this magical god power.
Probably. That's actually a very good call. Or if you did know about it, seems to be very powerful people. We learned of the Order and how they have ties to not just Councilman Delgado, rest in peace, but also the straight up FBI and the CIA, and who knows?
You don't need to say Councilman Delgado, rest in peace.
I miss him. I'm glad comedian Godfrey is here to sort of fill the role of Lorenzo Lamas's Councilman Delgado, but I miss him. Rest in peace to this fictional character. So Cage asks, "I'm just supposed to turn it over to you?" And he puts the gauntlet on. Katrina responds, "Yes, that would be easiest." However, Cage does not care for the easy way, and Katrina advises the hard way will be worse. Cage tries the spinning back fist, but she vanishes before he can connect gauntlet to cheek and he considers his next move as we cut over to Dario's office.
Real quick, Cage doesn't like his eggs over easy. He likes them over hard.
Yeah, which is...
I think just hard boiled.
Okay, cool. I was thinking, you know what? Maybe this is how you know I didn't get enough sleep last night, where I'm just like, yeah, he likes to pour eggs on his freaking rock hard boner every morning, and that's how he makes breakfast. Because
You could have said his
that's too
abs.
much.
You could have said his abs.
I could have done so many things. Dario's office is here, as we are. Joey Ryan still in the temple. Dario is so excited for the Cueto Cup semifinals, he forgot how disappointed he is in for Joey for losing that first round, and how we all are for various criminal reasons. The dirty cop turned agent of Dario is here to report some suspicious activity. Veneno is Detective Reyes, aka Cortez Castro, the original undercover cop.
And Dario says, I got a solution. Ban masks. Which, if you had done that, he's like, yeah, all masks are gone. All this luchador shit out of here. Would have been so funny at the time, but also like prophetic in the future to be like, I'm banning masks.
Wow. Yeah, but that pretty much is Dario's plan, but somehow more complicated. First, he's going to pin the tarantula attacks that Sexy Star has been receiving on Veneno. And next week, we'll pit the two against each other in a mask v mask match. Lucha de Apuesta, baby. So at least one of them will be losing their masks.
Who do you think it's going to be?
Based on both their position in the card, as well as Veneno's losing streak, I kind of sided with Dario. I think it's fair to bet on that losing streak. I think Veneno might be getting it masked here soon.
My guess, here's what I think. Veneno's losing. Mask will be pulled off. Lights flicker or whatever. The actual culprit, because they want the recognition. They want to be known that I am the one who hates you, Sexy Star. They show up, and then it's like, okay, who is this now? Or
Guerrero.
You know it's not Chavo. He's banned from the temple, even though he still works there. Oh, okay, wow, it's kind of like Vince McMahon, but, not at all like Vince McMahon.
No. Oh my God. Oh no. Chavo. You didn't let me finish. Chavo Guerrero.
Oh, okay.
It is not a mask.
Wait, hold on.
It is a Steven Brundlefly situation where Chavo jumped into a teleporter with a tarantula and now his genes are all kinds of fucked up.
Okay. I was going to say, when you said you didn't let me finish, technically you should say you didn't let me properly start because it was a prefix, not a suffix.
I technically should have said, I didn't let me finish. Hold on, let me pull something out of my ass. Let me justify all this bullshit that I put you through.
God, the amount of times I have to tell someone, hey, let me finish and pull something out of my ass.
Cueto Cup there's no transition. We just start the episode.
There we go. He says, get out of here. I love solitude.
Wait, hold on. Oh yeah, and he dismisses Joey Ryan. It is good to see we're not the only ones who hate this dude's ass. Cueto Cup semifinal match. We are at the semifinals now, and personal feeling spoiler. If the entire Cueto Cup was just these two matches tonight, and then presumably what the finals will be next week, it's paid for itself already. Obviously, we have a lot of other amazing talents, and I don't want, like, when I say that, not to take away from Dante Fox's tournament appearances, Jeremiah Crane's tournament appearances, a lot of great matches, but this shit's crazy.
The White Rabbit Tribe, they did awesome.
They were great. Tournament was real good. I want to take the time to say as we're approaching the end, I wasn't too sure about the tournament. Tournament real good, but we are in the semifinal. It is Phoenix versus Prince Puma. I think I'm sorry. My first note was shit so real right now for giving us this match. I was just. That's not even a note. That's just me sincerely praying to some higher being. Thank you for Lucha Underground. Specifically Phoenix versus Prince Puma. And I love it. It's so stoic and focused. Like, as they lock up, it's palpable. You can you feel it. They're neither of them really giving up too much. Especially Phoenix with his, and I'm sorry, but his biased ass girlfriend and Melissa Santos. It's like, I get it. Phoenix is a hunk. But we've got Michael Myers and Cirque du Soleil on the opposite side of the ring, and it's gonna be it's such an exciting, flashy murder fest between these two.
I think he's not so Mike Myers. He's more so Fear No Evil.
Wait, which one is Fear No Evil? I don't remember that.
It's Kane as a serial killer. It's just like I'm saying he's like another wrestler in a slasher movie.
Okay, yeah. Have you actually seen Fear No Evil? See No Evil?
Oh yeah, it's See No Evil, not Fear No Evil.
I think it's See No Evil. Yeah.
I'm positive it was on once while I was at like Tyler Accord's house to be like, yeah, man, we love wrestling, so let's watch a wrestling movie.
I think the only thing I know about that is that Vince and Kane were like, this guy's character should be that he has a big old wiener. That's why he's so evil and murdery. It's just his wiener is too big. And I think they purposefully then, either the first one or the second one, like went in and just were like, okay, so the reason he's killing people is he has a tiny penis and he's very sad about it. Like that's a major plot point, is how tiny the penis of. We could cut this, right?
I guess, but I'd kill people on both spectrums if I had a little hog or a huge hog, because
yeah.
With a huge hog, ladies don't want a huge hog. I think there's like the 1%ers out there of women are like, huge hog, yes, please. The rest are like, no.
You know what else women don't want? This segment, which you could have cut, but now we've talked about it for too long.
I'll just put it as a blooper.
Unlike Kane's penis, which was not long enough. Hey,
now it loops around.
Also, unlike Kane's penis, it was too small.
I was going to say the same joke.
So the wrestling match of Phoenix versus Prince Puma, I love the initial lockup. I'm kind of obsessed with. Puma's just very calculatedly and very efficiently catches Phoenix's wrists out of midair and starts working over like just some classic grounded like wrist hold maneuvers. But Phoenix has the unreal springboard and flippy tech that lets him arm drag out of that. And to me, that's going to be like that's sort of the beginning and the storyline the match carries. Where this is a different Puma. I've been saying this like the entire tournament, how different this Puma is. He is a lot more calculated and a lot more like very, very efficient in his movements. And Phoenix can do all that, but also has some of the most insane flippy tech you've ever seen.
Mm-hmm. I really liked Vampiro I think it was Stryker or it has to be Stryker or Vampiro. No, I think it was Rick Knox. He was screaming it real loud. He said, yeah, Phoenix is no longer a building block. He's a pillar of Lucha Underground. And that's just a really good. And I'm not a building block. I'm a pillar. Cada, etc.
Oh, wow. Beautiful. Very Kafka-esque of you, my friend, you beautiful metamorphosizing creature. I'm not a pillar. I am a Miller, as in Meet the Millers. Jason Sudeikis is my fake dad.
I'm a Miller, because I'm pounding them back, baby, getting drunk, and then saying, you're some bitch, and then, I'm punching dudes that look like, an older father figure.
Wow, that got real quick.
Eric, who owns Chicago Comics, is like, you gotta stop drinking, dude. I can't take another hit.
Speaking of taking another hit, Phoenix needs to stop taking all these. Actually, no, that transition was so good, but I also wanted to agree. This like the entire both of these matches, this entire semifinal round, and they'll touch on it later as well. These are the pillars. These are the foundations of Lucha Underground. And it feels so good to see like how far they've all come, both the characters and like their crowd reception to all these guys. The Animo Puma chants that we get throughout the night they're so big and they're so loud and they're so good to hear because these guys are kicking the shit out of each other.
Mm-hmm. And now that Puma is in jeans or jeggings, we're not sure yet, but you know what? How on the back, like there's that little, like, it looks like it's being yanked down at the top of the jeans in the back. It looks very much like what happens when you wear a mic pack back there.
Okay, yeah, and it gets a little interesting.
I was like, oh, that's why they never use mic packs in wrestling. They always use the handheld, because if you forget to take off that mic pack and you get power slammed, you're like, oh no, I forgot to take off the mic pack.
Oh, that would suck so bad. I sat on my keys a little too hard accidentally once, and it made me reconsider everything about my life. Getting power slammed on the mic pack? Ugh.
This would be a hilarious joke and could probably only be done in a very insular, intimate indie scene where everyone in the production, the crowd is aware of. And it would you would need to build to this. Someone gets slammed on the mic pack and the person who slammed him's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. But then all of a sudden you hear like a bunch of chairs like being like pushed around, and then like running up is the sound guy, and then the sound guy just like tackles the person who power bombed him and is like, fuck you, you hurt my ears.
The sound guy is a great, I want him to have a mask so bad.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Everything else about him is just like, looks like a Teamster ass sound guy. Cargo shorts and a backwards ball cap, but he is a luchador, and his luchador name is the sound guy.
See, this is what I think the next step should be for wrestling programs, because a lot of podcasts and radio shows, or even things like Nailed It, they bring in and make aware to the audience, the producers, associate producers, sound guys, etc. So like you are aware of the entire team. You kind of get to know their personalities little by little throughout the show. I think wrestling only does like the owner and then like the owner's like cronies. I think what would be great is like one cameraman like sees another cameraman and then like pans to the other cameraman and kind of like shakes the cameras and be like, oh, hey man, this is pretty crazy what's going on. And then like turns back to the action. Like let us in on the entire production. So then you start to feel like a kinship with everyone.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, James. That sounds like a very you-centric thought.
Yeah.
But that also makes me think that might just be crazy enough to work. And if you're a wrestling fan that is more interested in TV production than professional wrestling, we got you hooked. And that's a market in the wrestling world that's not being catered to. The young wrestling fans that are like, yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin, what a fucking asshole. I want to know what the Teamsters are getting from catering today. That's the storyline I'm invested in, and it's about we got it. It's about time we honor that.
And it's just, you could do a lot more storyline if you opened it up to not just, I'm angry and I'm screaming into a microphone that I'm gonna beat you up.
Yeah.
And then if it like you all of a sudden like hear like, when a bomb goes off in a video game and it goes like the whee, like if you hear that and it's like the sound guy is like, oh guys, you got to stop yelling so much when there's two microphones around.
Sound guy, I'm on board with 100%. I want to be very clear. I am buying the Sound Guy t-shirt at the next wrestling show I am at.
So also cameraman, in this episode, someone clearly like spat or like got sweat on one of the lenses. Like instead of going to another camera, have the camera guy like show him wiping that off real quick. And then you see the action like it's, a Gaussian blur on it. And then eventually goes into focus.
And as he's wiping it off, he pulls out a picture of his wife and his child, whom he hasn't seen since the war. Which war? It was a war you never heard of. It was a secret war. He had to fight on behalf of Nick Fury. That's right. This guy is he's not one of the Avengers. He's one of Fury's heroes. He's with a small group of soldiers. We're giving him a lot of backstory. And honestly, into the temple, that shit can work.
And it's going to have a lot of budget because clearly it's on ABC or Disney Plus because if we're incorporating Marvel shit.
We're incorporating Jesus Christ, in which case ABC will be calling. Speaking of Jesus Christ, this match made me go Jesus Christ so much. They opened up with this ground game, which is just really cool to see. Puma and Phoenix, two of the best high flyers, period. Like, regardless of company. Just like look at each other, recognize like, oh, before I break my neck trying to do 3,000 flips into your soul, let me test your headlock out. Let's see how you're working. Let's see how your jujitsu game is right now. And they both have it's interesting to see, like, both very good ground games. I think, like, they're fun to watch Chain wrestle. And even though they have a similar, like, body type and approach to the style, it is still different, especially with Puma Dark and Phoenix right now. It's the little stuff. I loved watching them. I loved watching Phoenix and Puma Chain wrestle.
Mm-hmm.
And then so speed things up as they just start punching each other in the head. Phoenix is the first one with a clear strike. Like, he's the first one to land a clean hit. And Puma's just like, oh, yeah, I'll punch you in the head. And they're teeing off on each other. Simultaneous elbows, double down. There's like, they clunk elbows and they both fall. The referee starts to count to one. He thinks about starting a 1 count. And the luchadors both kip up and they back at it at the elbows. Oh, Puma creates space, simultaneous Jeff Hardy flying forearms, knock both luchadors down again. Ref this time gets a little bit longer than 1 in his 10 count. It's very exciting to see them so evenly matched. Ooh, semifinal shit.
When Puma was doing some high flying stuff, Stryker's like, oh yeah, he's like his hero, Rey Mysterio. And then Vamp's like, hey, I'm his hero, okay?
Yeah,
I'm his mentor, not Rey.
It's because Puma Puma did hit a 619. I so badly just want to hear Vampiro go, hold on, I invented the 619, okay? Rey, I used to do cool flippy. That's my son, and I'll have you never talk to him or Rey Mysterio ever again.
I pulled him from the darkness, not Rey. Rey put him there.
Vampiro is very protective of Puma, and if I wasn't so worried about everything else he's putting Puma through, it would be very sweet. If I trusted the character of Vampiro for an instant, this would be very sweet.
I wonder what Vampiro's gonna do. We'll get to it, later, but in the next episode with this final, it's, might be 2 of his mentees.
A little bit of spoilers. I can't wait to get into it. Just like Phoenix can't wait to get into the face of Puma. It's a lot of match for match, or anything you can do, I can do better. Not quite in the combo for combo sense. There's a lot of counter wrestling going on. The Phoenix countering out of the Puma suplex combo. You know how Puma will do the Northern Light suplex, then roll through, and he picks you up for that brain buster. Phoenix waiting for the brain buster before just Hurricane Ranaing the shit out of Puma, getting his first. I think that's the first 2 count. With a deep 2 count. Referee counts until Phoenix kicks out, and it is golly, yeah. It's hard to even recommend this match and not just recommend this entire episode, because you should watch this episode. It gets nasty. A hard Irish whip puts Phoenix into the corner, and Puma takes a little too long. Phoenix starts countering, and Puma is frustrated, and I love that. You can see they don't super push on it. I don't think in commentary, but it's pretty obvious, and I think it's fairly obvious that Phoenix has been wrestling longer than Puma. For whatever reason, it seems like they've both been wrestling for a long time, but there's a little bit of confidence and experience for Phoenix, so that Puma is the one getting frustrated in the corner. Puma is the one getting frustrated by Phoenix's counters. And Puma's the one who puts himself in a really kind of rough place in that frustration. He gets German suplexed on his head, running kick to the back of his head, 2.9 pin attempt from Phoenix. Everyone's like, this guy is dead. You just murdered him on his head twice. But Puma is still alive. This is a different Puma. This is a Puma who is ready to die, I guess. And what the fuck is Marty the Moth doing here?
He's doing it to make him all crazy,
Yeah, which is an interesting way to describe him creeping on Melissa Santos, as he's been doing for weeks. Yeah, he's a real problem. Phoenix sees this. He's climbing the top rope. He spots Marty, just here creeping, and adjusts his focus from the top rope. Instead of attacking Puma, he flies to Marty, knocks him the fuck out. but leaves his eyes off of his opponent for too long. Running leaping knee into the vertigo. Puma covers for 1, 2, 2.9? It is like that. Phoenix is like, no, hold on, fuck you. I was defending my girl. I won't die like this. But he will die in the immediate follow-up. 630 splash is what seals the deal for Prince Puma, who will be moving on to the finals. He wins this match in 10 minutes and 29 seconds.
I would have loved it if Puma gets up, goes over to Marty and just socks him once, just to be like, yeah, man, like, I don't like this. I won, but I don't like how I won. Also, you're being a creepazoid.
Yeah, like Puma just gets up. I have gone out of my way to communicate with the darkness and the demons and really the evilness that is in the world around us. But I'm not being a weirdo about it. Marty, you're making things weird. You're giving darkness a bad name, and I'm sick of it. After the match, Puma doesn't. He takes his victory. He takes him as he can get some. He leaves the ring, while Puma does not leave Marty does not leave. So he sticks around to watch on as Phoenix and Melissa embrace. Also, shouts out to the one believer petting his canvas portrait of Marty the Moth.
That's
did
good.
Did you catch that guy? Like,
I didn't, but I like that because that's what Marty would do.
Hell yeah. This is how you match somebody's freak. When you see Marty the Moth Martinez and you go, "That's my guy." Let me go sit in the audience so I can pet my canvas portrait of this man. That's Matt. That's love, you know.
WWMD. Wait.
What would Marty do?
Yeah, I guess that is, but it's also saying WMD, so maybe not.
What weapons of mass destruction?
There we go. That's what we should have been saying to Bush all along.
Would you read more Mad Magazine if Alfred E. Newman's catchphrase was "What weapons of mass destruction"?
Yeah.
Cool.
I don't know how I could read more Mad. I read it every month, you know?
Damn good point. We cut over to the locker room. Sexy Star reaches for her water bottle when she notices it's shaking like a prop on Jurassic Park. You know, just like, and it goes blunk, and it goes blunk. That is because Mil Muertes is nearby, and he is working out on a heavy bag until he punches it off his hinges. Just goes big man style. King Kong ain't got nothing on this motherfucker. Katrina steps over the bag to remind him to save some for Pentagón. That will be the next semifinal match of the Cueto Cup tonight. And what the fuck is Cage doing here? He slaps Mil over the back of the head with a big-ass weight a few times before dropping that weight directly onto the Man of 1,000 Deaths' spine. He walks over to Katrina, flexing his gauntlet, says, you were saying? Fucking Cage.
And at this point, I just wrote down Puma versus Penta.
Wait, what?
Because I'm like, oh, this is going to make Mil lose in this match.
He did get beat up with, what are those? Because those weights have a specific name, and like I forget what they are, but it's like the ones that you put onto a barbell.
I think they're called big circles.
Big circles, and it's like a 100-pound big circle weight. He beats this is a murder. This is another attempted murder.
Also, I just want to comment on this because it's happened a lot. Those punching bags are about $100 to $200, and they've destroyed quite a few in this. That's why this got canceled.
Yeah. Because who's footing the punching bag bill? Is it gonna be you, Mil? I don't think so.
Survivor's not doing that well, guys. Mark Burnett, who produces Survivor, produced this as well.
Thank you. I'm sorry I couldn't explain that joke for you. I was too busy enjoying it. Thankfully, Mil's gonna be fine. Katrina still has a whole bunch of magic in that amulet of hers. She brings Mil back to life again. His eyes flash red, and he immediately wants to bow back up to Cage. Katrina holds him back. She advises him to use this anger to break Pentagón in two, which is going to come up right about now. Semi-final Cueto Cup match, the second match of the card tonight. It is Pentagón Dark versus Mil Muertes with Katrina. Oh, Now, there's a rock meeting a hard place. There is an irresistible force meeting an immovable object. But then there's the absolute killer that is Pentagón meeting death itself in Mil Muertes. And this is a first time match, one-on-one match between these two. And something that's been like, I love they never totally threw it out. They've always remembered Pentagón is the reason Mil lost his championship. If I'm not, I believe I'm remembering this correctly, it was Aztec Warfare, the multi-person battle royale, where that Mil was defending the championship in, that Penta jumped him during his entrance to ensure that he would not retain his title.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a while ago. That was before Matanza was champion. So to see that like paying off in almost like the inevitable, which is a beautiful metaphor for what Mil represents. It is inevitable that Penta would have to pay for his crimes. It is inevitable that these two would have their one-on-one match. And I like the wrestling in today's episode a whole bunch.
When you brought up a rock in a hard place, I thought you were going to say a rock meeting some hard thighs.
Now what?
Because Katrina's got that rock and, Penta's got those hard thighs.
you know what? I guess that's where I should have gone.
If Godzilla saw Pentagón, he'd be like, what kind of workouts you doing? If you don't know, guys, just look at Godzilla, in the 80s. Look at, like him from not profile, but straight on. You'd see like, wow, that dude's all thighs.
Yeah. And if you see Penta in this match or many of his others, and you saw the way he swings them low kicks, you'd say, yeah, that guy's got some Godzilla-esque thighs.
Godzilla is also always measuring his thighs and asking his spouse, hey, can I measure your head to see if it's larger than my thighs?
Yeah, that Penta doesn't do that. That's Godzilla and another one of these co-hosts on this podcast right about now.
It's Sean.
Yeah. No. Don't.
Except it's not your spouse, it's your roommate's spouse, so you're always going up to Alien and saying, hey, let me measure your head real quick.
It's like, yeah, I think you need to go. Sean, you don't actually live here. You need to go. Mil enters second, by the way. He is still holding his ribs from the cage attack, and there is so much Sao Miedo as Penta beckons Mil into the ring. Like, it's one of those, maybe he's a little less fearful after seeing that Mil is injured, but this is Penta. Like, there's a good chance he would have done that little come on, regardless of whether Mil was injured or not. This dude's crazy.
Real quick, where's the Black Lotus triad? We'll get into that whenever they show up, but it is wild that they're like, they are a force to be reckoned with, and then zilch.
Didn't they get signed? I don't think Io is signed yet, but I'm pretty sure Kairi Sane is already signed.
Oh, okay. It's wild that they're like, this is going to be a focal point, and then it just doesn't.
Yeah.
We don't have time.
We don't. It's curious. I'm very curious about that. But yeah, I love the bell rings. Penta starts teeing off on Mil Muertes, just like elbow, which is a bold choice. To the bell rings, and my first strategy is to punch Mil Muertes in the head as many times as possible, because Mil gives like one headbutt and then just one cold right hand to knock Penta the fuck out. Like, it's like, as much as he is injured right now, he is still Mil Muertes. He will not be teed off on. He will not be jumped at the bell so easily. So Penta has to try and get technical, pick up the pace a little bit. Mil widens his base to prevent the takedown. Like, Mil was beaten to near death with a 100-pound weight, and still the first two attempts from Penta are unsuccessful to take Mil down. That is how dominant this monster still is. Penta catches an overhand chop. He catches Mil's hand, holds it in the air, and he starts lighting up his ribs with side kicks. Then he gets a drop kick to finally knock down Mil. This is going to be Penta's strategy: counter wrestle Mil, and then take advantage of these new injuries. And as soon as he gets that opening, Penta is locked the fuck in. Mil misses. He tosses himself out of the ring. Penta keeps him out there with a tope con giro. And if there's anything Penta's also really good at, it's keeping the pressure on. He just press and press and press. Penta continues to attack Mills specifically in the ribs outside the ring. He brings him back in to continue, get some punches in the corner. Eventually, Mill pushes him off for a space, catches Penta on the way back with a fucking chokeslam. Ooh. As soon as he gets that chokeslam, and it's fucking Mills. It's a back and forth endeavor, I guess is what I'm trying to say without over-explaining the match.
I think it's already happened, but Mill gets Pentagón or Penta, we just say Penta here, gets him in a fireman's carry. We've gotten to that, right?
We're just before that. This is,
okay, keep going,
ring.
keep going.
All I'll say is, Mill now is the one to take Penta outside, and I think it's the first thing he does. Is there's not a lot of things they do outside before he just like puts him on his shoulder, fireman carry style, and he bullies the shit out of him.
I called it a fireman's crunch because he takes him and just kind of like crunches him in.
Yeah, he does. He crunches him. He bashes his head into the ring post a few times before he just dumps him into an F5. I feel like it's a very big brother, little brother thing to like take your little brother, put you on his shoulders and just be like, you cannot escape. And you start crunching them.
I'd escape. I'd be like, I'm getting out of this fireman's carry. And I got to run real quick because after I get out of this fireman's carry, I know my brother has a bunch of wooden swords. That's a callback from another episode. Go listen to it.
Yeah, please do. I'm here. I'm good. So right after this is when Penta gets thrown into the announce desk and Mill stares down Vampiro. As much as Vampiro is currently mentoring Puma, which is a big part of it, Vampiro is currently mentoring Puma. He has not been mentoring Pentagón in some time. Like there's always some affinity. You hear it on commentary for all of Penta's matches. Whenever Vampiro is talking about Penta, he's a little more biased than he would be for someone he was not actively mentoring.
Which my guess is, as we've seen, not just on Vampiro's podcast, but in behind the scenes stuff in documentaries, I think Vampiro just really genuinely enjoys Pentagón's company and is like, I love this dude's style of wrestling. I'm never going to talk shit about Penta. He's my friend.
You know what? I think so too. I think you can say that based on the stuff we see in documentaries and like the stuff we've seen around, because we don't know the guy. I think that's fair to say that about a lot of this though. Like he's such a fan. He loves wrestling so much. And he does love the people he works with. Like the way he talks about Matt Stryker, both on commentary and like in documentaries and in interviews, there is so much love for him. Yeah. Like he credits Matt Stryker a lot for the success of Lucha Underground and his entire comeback at this stage of his career. Yeah, he credits a lot of that to Stryker. I think Vampiro's seems to have a big heart, and he's wearing that shit on his sleeve.
Yeah, and I guess I should say he has an affinity for Pentagón, and Pentagón's a few classes under him in the sense of like, if you're talking senior class, freshman class, whatever, it's kind of like that. There's like the generational is a couple removed from Vampiro's class of wrestling, whereas people in his own class, Rey Mysterio and Mundo, even though Mundo's probably like one behind and Rey just began wrestling at such a young age, they're somehow in the same class. Sure. I think because they're in the same class, he knows like, I can rib these guys. I've worked with them. I've wrestled with them. I'm going to talk so much shit, but they know I'm not. But when it comes to younger dudes that he really genuinely is friends with, it's like, well, this is like it's a father-son or like nephew-uncle relationship. And that's what I get from Penta and Vampiro.
Same. It feels very Vampiro feels like it feels like he has some sort of protective, not overly protective, but there is some protective kinship to these to a lot of these wrestlers on this. I mean, I don't want to take away like especially Vampiro especially Pentagón, excuse me. I mean, because Penta's the one that brought him out of retirement, right? They had that. you have to have a lot of love to want to put someone over in a death match the way Vampiro does in the first Ultima Lucha, no less. That's in the first big season finale.
And the big season finale reveal that he bows to Vampiro and is like, what the fuck? This has been the master all along.
Yeah.
It paid off so hard.
Our friend Fortnite Spider-Man is watching it. I realize I don't have to credit them because they're not listening until years later. But when they finally do catch up, they're watching Lucha Underground now. They're on season 2. They're watching through right now, and they mentioned they just got to Ultima Lucha season 2. Which is Pentagón versus Matanza. And I didn't realize, it's a little unfortunate. It's fine that Penta loses. I get that people have to lose wrestling matches sometimes, but they put the Lucha Underground title match in the middle of night 3 as opposed to letting it main event night 2. Which is a damn shame because that should have been such a huge moment for Penta. Even in loss, that should have been a huge, huge moment. But to see, in a lot of other companies, it gets kind of scary. I think seeing how Penta stays at the top of the card and stays so relevant, not just in the booking, but in the fans' eyes, Penta is beloved. It is very difficult to cheer for a man whose part of his whole deal is to break arms.
Yeah.
He is a very violent, he is not just cheered, he is beloved. And I think some of that obviously goes to Penta for being as good as he is, goes for the rest of the show for being as good as it is. But I think also goes to Vampiro and the rest of the booking committee for looking after these guys.
Yeah.
For really showing more than just I think they're more than just this sort of names on a piece of paper and bodies to perform a television show. These are brothers and sisters in this family of art that they create in Lucha Underground. And I think it sounds very poetic, but it's really just love and respect. I think it comes through. However you feel about Vampiro and whatever mistakes he's made along the way, I think that love and respect for Lucha comes through. And he's comes through in a lot of ways, but especially in the relationship with Penta.
And speaking of Penta, boy, oh boy, he's about to do something.
I'm sorry. That's a nice way of saying, Sean, you haven't talked about wrestling in a while, and there's a lot of really good wrestling going on. What we were talking about, coming back to, is Penta getting thrown into the announce desk. They're get back in the ring. Mill's still under control until Penta hits the ropes. He hits the drop kick to the right knee of this dead person. I love it. And I love it. It's it's not gonna be anything flashy. It's not gonna be a big elbow. I'm gonna drop kick you in the fucking knee. Counter wrestling and taking advantage of Mill's injuries. However, Katrina catches Penta's boot, disrupts long enough for Mill to recover, big shoulder tackle. And this is where they start going a little bit more back and forth. Katrina's still here. She's going to disrupt Penta, but Penta is focused. He's found a strategy, counter wrestling. He's got those nasty ribs. It's a lot more back and forth than I think either wrestler would like this match to be for how dangerous their opponent is. Mm-hmm. I don't think either guy is like, oh yeah, let me wrestle like a 15-minute classic with Penta. Let me wrestle a 15-minute classic with Mill. No, these guys will kill you. You want to get in and out. Whether it's you're winning or losing, you want to get in and out or risk drastic permanent injury.
Even with Penta, I loved, even nearing the end, he is winded. We rarely see Penta that way. Unless it's the entire episode is just him battling 3 other people. So him being winded in just 7 to 15 minutes is wow. But it makes sense. Mill is giant.
Yeah. I love it. At one point, Penta goes for his package pile driver, which is a staple in the Penta offense book. However, he doesn't get it. And he never gets it. He never goes back to the package pile driver later and hits that move. It's just, no, this is a move I don't get to hit on Mill. Yeah, Mill's throwing the clotheslines in the corners, but Mill somewhat weakened. These clotheslines aren't hitting like they usually do. And Penta finds another counter. Backstabber leads to 3 unanswered super kicks that don't knock down Mill. They knock out Mill, which is I think it was the Paul London match. That is just 8 super kicks in a row around the ring. Mm-hmm. Normally Mill eats these, but Mill's been worn down by Cage as well as Penta. So 3 super kicks, he's knocked the fuck out. Penta struts When I say this man struts to the top rope, he is like, if you ever see those old 70s posters of the guy walking down the street, it says, keep on trucking. That is how Penta is approaching the top rope. As Katrina tries to grab his foot yet again, tries to hold onto that foot for another moment of disruption.
And think of a cat. Everyone's seen either a cat do this or videos of cat doing this, just strutting, just walking along on a countertop or on a table, and then just not even stops. They just knock something over real quick and keep walking. That is what happens to Katrina. You explain it further in depth, but I laughed so hard at this.
I know you nailed it. She grabs the foot without a moment of hesitation. And I'm glad I didn't see this. I'm very glad you said this. It's very cat-like. The way Penta wheels back and just pops her in the face with his foot. Kicks her square in the jaw, knocks her the fuck out.
It's so funny.
Gets to the top rope, double stomp to cover and win. Penta advances to the finals of the Cueto Cup in 7 minutes, 31 seconds.
Wow, it wasn't even like 8 minutes. Like he's winded in 7. Yeah, this match ruled, but let's get going, baby.
Yeah. Also, real quick, because as aforementioned, Penta's got a weird nature in his Warlock bargain. Every time he wins, he must sacrifice the arms of his fallen opponents. So he takes the arm of 1,000 deaths. And I think this is the first time we've seen it. Mill just throws Penta off. One-armed, throws him off. He rolls out of the ring, and defiant in loss, Katrina holds high the amulet rock as they exit. As they exit the ring and the Cueto Cup. And we go to commercial, we come back, we are in ring again. Dario is here to say something. Next week will be the title match between Rey Mysterio and Johnny Mundo, but before that happens, Dario wants to give both men one last chance for final words because, to be honest, he loves it when these luchadors talk shit.
And at this point I said, boo, only 2 matches and then a scream fest to end out. I was like, And boy, oh boy, Lucha Underground subverts my expectations because this fucking ruled, man.
Yeah, so good. Rey Mysterio enters first. Meanwhile, Dirty Dom is home somewhere recovering from that brutal attack by Johnny Mundo. I would just like to take this moment to say Dom did nothing wrong turning on Rey a decade later in WWE. That's fucked up.
And I'm going to say, Dom, suck it up. It wasn't that bad.
Slam Town plays as Johnny enters next with full security detail. In fact, Johnny doesn't even get to the ring before he starts talking his shit. If anyone, especially Rey, has dreams of becoming Lucha Underground champion, well, Johnny's here to crush that dream right now, just like he crushes everything, which is a direct quote, which I love this guy so much. And we talked before about how much this match means for Johnny. You kind of feel it here. Someone who started his career at the bottom of the locker room in SmackDown, the same SmackDown that Rey Mysterio was king of, and sort of like, now he's in a different company, is at the top of the card, and to have Rey come back, I am speculating here, but it just feels like such a cool full circle moment for Johnny. I don't know if that's how he felt going into it, but it felt, as a fan of Johnny, I guess I felt that.
Yeah. I'm now changing my predictions. I now kind of want Johnny to beat Rey, and then Puma to, after beating Johnny or just about, it seems like he's going to kill Johnny, but like Rey's there to be like, dude, don't go into the dark side. And then he like doesn't, but then still wins. I think that would also be pretty satisfying. So yeah, I'm fine with either person winning tomorrow's match. But Puma's gonna win over Penta.
I see that prediction. I'm fine if he doesn't, though.
Yeah, I guess. Because also, like, Puma versus Johnny or not Puma, Penta versus Johnny or Penta versus Rey would be very fun.
Would be insane. Penta versus Rey, like, there's 2 luchadors in such different styles of lucha libre. To see Penta and Rey Mysterio go at it is fucking great. There's a lot of, I'm also good with a lot of different outcomes as well.
Also, I'd be fine with Johnny versus Penta because the Worldwide Underground would try to interfere, and I think Penta would just break all their arms immediately.
Yeah, like they would try to play some game of it. Penta has no time for goofiness in the best way. Like I love goofy shit, but I also love Penta. I love that Penta's goofy shit is to be very, like, stone cold about everything. Not stone cold Steve Austin, but just very, like, nonplussed about everything. And then break everyone's arms, especially Ricky Mandel. If Penta goes back and breaks both of Ricky Mandel's arms because he's just a fucking intern, I would be very happy.
I think I've brought this up before or on other podcasts. Absurdist comedy works best when a real person is there to play off from them. Car Ranger was everyone was weird. Everything was wild. This is a Super Sentai series. Here, Nicole and I talk about it on mostly Speakin' Sentai. But the movies that came after and before were Car Ranger versus O-Ranger and Car Ranger versus Mega Ranger. The O-Ranger were a military group who had like a sergeant, a like military man running the organization, whereas the Car Ranger had a goofy little alien to be their mentor. So to see them have to interact with this military group, so funny. The guy's like, what? You guys, how are you even saving the world? What the fuck are you doing? So I think like you need a pentatype to play off from, or else it's just a crazy cartoon.
Yeah, and it goes into, if you don't have a strong voice of reason, things often kind of like just spiral into chaos in a way that's not sustainable, both as a performer trying to come up with new shit to do next week, as well as an audience member just trying to keep up. Well, like, it just becomes hard to physically keep up.
I will say, like, there's merits for both. It is refreshing when you see a cartoon and then all of a sudden there's not refreshing, it's just like a new thing that it's like, okay, that's cool. But I do want to say, like, Johnny just speaking Spanish so poorly, when you know the human John, I don't know his last name.
Hennigan. John Hennigan.
You know he can speak Spanish well, but the character trait to just immediately get heel interaction is like, whoa, holy shit! Like this is so funny.
Yeah, and sorry, heat is I believe the word you were looking for.
Heel interaction.
Nope, that's nothing. Don't double down on heel interaction like that's gonna take off. No, it's called heat.
I guess I did. I said heel trait in my notes, but I like heel interaction. It sounds like a bad video game company that only does licensed video games in 1995.
It sounds like a bad video game company that instead of folding and going out of business like they should have, they just switched interests and became a Wiki Feet contributor.
Or they somehow got bought by EA and are still a studio, and you're like, how? What? And then you look at us like, oh, they supplement their income with WikiFeed. I don't know how they get into WikiFeed so much, but I'm very insistent that that's where I double down. Is that heel interaction used to make Madden NFL, and now they make WikiFeet AI content. Okay. Oh, AI wikis. Okay.
Yeah.
But they're talking in the ring, and Johnny has this security detail, which by the heel interactions that are happening, these fuckers are only his personal security team, which would make sense because we're like, when did they get security? But they've only been helping Johnny. Well, you could say like, well, he's the star, he's the champ, but no. Because
they've only been seen with Johnny, let alone been helping Johnny. They were the ones that it looked like they were trying to hold everyone back the other week with Johnny, Ray, and Dom. But if you go back and watch, no, they weren't holding anyone else back but Dominic Mysterio. The security was only there to make sure Dom didn't get involved.
And that's what happens here.
Yeah, I love the way he kind of switched. By the time when he gets to the ring, Johnny just switches things up. He thought of something funny. It was really good to see your son Dom last week. You know your son Dom, he got so big. He's 6'3", he's playing football. Must have gotten his height from his mother. Ha ha. No, but seriously, have you thought about your wife fucking around behind your back and siring your son Dom with somebody else? Like, just like straight up say, and you know what? Johnny, you can attack Ray's son all you want. You can beat him in the head with as many title belts as you please. But you will not talk ill of Dominic's true father, Eddie Guerrero, like that. And Ray attacks the shit out of Johnny. Dumps him out of the ring, flies over the top rope. Eventually security, they're just holding him back. But Ray kind of breaks free, gets another hit in, they pull him back again. And this is where the Worldwide Underground emerge. They each grab a foot, they pull right down, they crotch in between the ring posts. And this is where I noticed that, yeah, the security, these are not Lucha Underground security. These are Johnny Mundo security. Security, like the corrupt police, do not protect people. They only serve the interest of those wealthy enough to pay. So they stand by as the Worldwide Underground continue a 5-on-1 beatdown. That is until the cavalry arrive. Sexy Star, the Mac, Dragon Azteca, Clear House, both the security and the Worldwide Underground. Anyone in the ring who's not Rey Mysterio is catching hands, and they catch a lot of hands.
And they catch a stunner, baby.
Oh, you know it, baby. Yeah. Everyone's getting their ass kicked. Johnny eventually gets an upper hand. Like he's about to mount and punch Rey Mysterio as Prince Puma arrives. Scares Johnny off of Rey. Everyone stands back up. They're eyeing each other down. And hold on, you can't have a standoff with the top guys of the company without the second finalist of the Cueto Cup, Pentagón. As we mentioned before, sprays some of that water into the cameras, because a little wipey down, before flashing the Zero Miedo to the camera, directly to camera, slides into the ring, and everybody starts throwing fists and punches, and it's a fucking brawl.
It's not a brawl, because I was trying to figure out what term would you give when this happens, and Stryker calls it a roster riot, and I was like, yes, that indeed is what it is, because the entire locker room in phases starts coming out of the woodwork.
Mil Muertes comes out. Death becomes us, but who can stop I got too excited, and I'm not sure where I am.
It's Cage.
Cage is fucking here.
And them back to back, like, how is Cage bigger than Mil?
It's insane. And why the fuck is Marty here again? Oh, don't worry, Phoenix is at the top of the ramp to kick the shit out of him until they get all the way down the ringside, and now Mariposa is here to help her brother, her Mothran brother.
The only people who would be, I'm like, hey, I hope they don't show up. Oh man, things are going to get terrorized if they do. Oh my God, they did show up. It's the White Rabbit tribe. What are they gonna do? Oh, they're just miming commentary to themselves on the top of one of the offices.
Yeah, they each have a carrot too. So if they're not miming commentary, they're just munching on carrots, enjoying the action.
How is this not before Lucha or Ultima Lucha Trace? It's wild. Like, this ruled.
And it really is building up. It's something, going back and looking at Ultima Lucha Dos after hearing our Fortnite Spider-Man was watching it. And because I forgot how much went into Ultima Lucha Dos, and that the first night was technically that mini tournament. And I feel like this is they went back and they took their time with the tournament, which was something I remember last time where it did feel kind of rushed. Like, oh yeah, welcome to Ultima Lucha, there's a tournament now. Like, no, they took their time, and now they can afford this like awesome go home to the finals of the tournament.
Mm-hmm. You brought up Secret Wars earlier. This is Secret Wars. It's like they're all on Battle World or whatever the fuck it's called, and just all the heroes are punching, and for some weird reason, Spider-Man has a different suit on.
I mean, Vampiro is kind of Puma's symbiote.
Yeah.
If you think about it, Vampiro's kind of Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's all I wanted to add.
The only one missing from this equation is Matanza.
Yeah, which is probably a very purposeful. He is locked up. Like the last time we saw Matanza, he is locked in the attic eating raw meat that should have been pizza bagel bites.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, Jeremiah Crane is here. Vinny Massaro is here.
Oh yeah.
Everyone is here. And then and so is Dario. Like, as soon as the Rabbit Tribe get to the roof, they just cut to Dario out of his office with a real violent pervy smile.
Uh-huh.
Yes. This is exactly what I wanted. Perfect.
It would have been funny if, like, I'm trying to think of just the bottom of the card person. I guess like it would have been Vinny Massaro, but I don't want to take anything away from Vinny Massaro. But if all of a sudden people just like started screaming and like in a dark corner, you see Matanza like wheel out a body that's clearly Vinny Massaro like without a head, and they're like, he ate Vinny's head, and then like Dario's like, match over, everyone out. I am so sorry about this.
I'm so sorry about this, but like he like real slowly kind of like gives Matanza a thumbs up when he thinks no one is looking. This was not supposed to happen. That was perfect. I am so sorry. No refunds, of course. Have a great night. Get home safe.
Yeah.
Dante Fox and Killshot start fighting at the top of the ramp. Puma eventually hits a 630 splash off the top rope to take out an entire dog pile of people, as Ray and Johnny, the only two left in the ring, and Ray delivers the 619.
Ooh!
And Johnny's knocked the fuck out. Ray preemptively holding the Lucha Underground title as we cut to the credits. Thank you for coming. Sorry that y'all had to watch Matanza eat somebody's head, but also you liked it a little bit, right? Like I'm not weird for enjoying watching my brother eat another man's head. That's cool wrestling, right?
Yeah, why
We'll
not?
see you next week. Yeah, okay, great. We'll see you next week. And we'll see y'all in a whole lot of interesting avenues. For instance, twitch.tv/Goose Von Kaiser. Come on over. It's a fun, silly gaming channel. There's a good chance you can join my Discord, where I'm usually just watching wrestling there. I'm going to try watch Lucha Underground and catch up on episodes of AEW Dynamite. These are all avenues you can see me, but I'm not the only one you can see on the internet and in other various avenues. Isn't that right, James?
Hey guys, my cat Henry, he is very codependent. He has anxiety issues when we get separated. So help me stay at home by heading over to patreon.com/MLM pod, where for $5 a month, you get exclusive content every single Friday. This Friday, I believe, is going to be a literary speedrunning. Oh, wait, no, that's last week with R2 Shelby 2. I forgot we have a banked one. Should be.
Yeah.
Oh my God, in time for Easter Left Behind, Nicolas Cage's Christian Armageddon movie, Rapture.
What?
Yeah, I'm excited for that. And I got, like, Nicole's like, that's a high day thing, James. I'm not just going to watch the Kirk Cameron Left Behind series. I was like, no, because that looks like some yummy trash I got to watch. But get all of that. But if you're a $10 patron, you get that plus monthly bonus exclusive content in the form of straight to Patreon. Ooh, it's a good time. I think Sean and Torchy have suffered through enough shit movies that I'm just going to have you on for certified classics. I got to get you guys on for Sailor Suit and Machine Gun, and just amazing movie from Japan, like 1998 or something, about a high school girl who ends up being the last living line of a Yakuza, a down and out Yakuza. So she has to try and make it good. And none of the men in this group are like, we're not going to follow this girl. No, they're like, she is blood, so she has to be the one to bring us to greatness. It rips.
Hell yeah. Can we watch like one more bad movie though?
Okay.
I want to watch this one. See, this sounds good, but like, we could do what don't tell Torchy I said this. We can do like one more bad movie, right?
Yeah, we'll watch See No Evil.
Yeah.
Oh, also $10 patrons get shout outs on every single free feed podcast. So let's begin with those, starting with Steve F, Eric Berry of Ranger Command Power Hour, Alex D. The Waz, Orion, my Bickle brother in common law, Joshua Jacobs, Steve Barnes, a sweet child of time, and Intro Boyd, my mother, Lil Corey's BFF and now former roommate Shane, twitch.tv/Core Winning, it's Corwin, from the Rom Complex, as well as Formulaic, a podcast and script writing, it's twitch.tv/R2 Shelby 2, and from Speed Radio, a podcast in all things Sonic the Hedgehog, it's Tay, aka Zinny D, and I've been James.
And I've been Sean, and this has been Sweaty Time Pro Wrestling. Purple Prancer forever, be like Bob.
Bye-bye.